Take away the star and add a vaccine passport.
The head of the Oklahoma Republican Party doubling down after a controversial Facebook post.
It's inappropriate, it's insulting, and it is horrific.
Reaction to the post dividing state Republicans.
The post equating a vaccine passport, which is not mandated anyway by the U.S., to the government in Nazi Germany leading up to the Holocaust.
It's not about the star. What it's about is a totalitarian government pushing communist agenda on top of us and forcing people against their own liberties to get this vaccine.
That is John Bennett, the Oklahoma GOP chairman, and tonight some, even in his own party, are calling for him to be ousted. News 4's Brent Skarkey is live with the story. What'd you find out, Brent?
Well, Kevin, on Sunday, John Bennett, head of the GOP, the state GOP here, released that video defending his comments about the Holocaust, but also blasting some top Republicans for disagreeing with him. Is this the last straw for Bennett as head of the state GOP?
To use an analogy about the largest genocide in the 20th century related to an issue that is about saving lives in 2021, regardless about how you feel about vaccines or masks or anything else, it's inappropriate, it's insulting, and it is horrific.
The head of the Jewish Federation of Greater Oklahoma City staying strong on her stance as John Bennett backs up his use of the Star of David analogy concerning vaccine mandates and passports.
They give them a star to put on them. They couldn't go to the grocery store. They couldn't go out in public. They couldn't do anything without having that star.
The state GOP releasing this video over the weekend.
If we don't do something now, it's going to end in the same exact result as we saw when nobody stood up whenever the Jews were told that they had to wear that star.
Jewish leaders saying it's never appropriate to use Holocaust analogies for anything.
It fuels a fire for those who are already anti-Semitic or who already think that way, and it empowers them to spew their hatred because they feel like somebody agrees with them.
On Friday, multiple leading Oklahoma Republicans coming together to issue a statement. The Speaker of the House's office and the governor's office telling News 4 they stand behind the statement that said, in part, people should have the liberty to choose if they take the vaccine, but we should never compare the unvaccinated to victims of the Holocaust. Bennett firing back at fellow Republicans for that statement in his video.
The bigger problem is whenever people speak out and speak the truth, my own fellow Republicans came out against me.
Some in the Republican Party say it's time for a change at the state office.
I thought the video was ridiculous.
Chad Alexander is a political talk show host and former head of the state Republican Party. He says Bennett is acting like a dictator and driving away GOP donors with his radical rhetoric.
And I think the majority of the state committee needs to do their jobs and put in a state party chairman that can unify the Republican Party.
Well, Alexander says that the three people right below Bennett at the GOP need to call a special election to make a change. We reached out to them, one of them telling me that they're listening to their members right now and their reaction before they consider what to do about the situation. As for John Bennett here at the state GOP, our emails and calls were not returned. We're live in Northeast Oklahoma City. Brent Skarkey, Oklahoma's News 4.